homes, building hope, building community.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, just about 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this beautiful Friday morning. Hope everything's going well with you. We have about 10 minutes to talk about a 600-page book, Robin. It's a gigantic book. It is an epic. I don't know how many authors we've had on that have actually written an epic, but our next guest has. She is Kate Mosse. She's in England right now. Am I right about that, Robin?
Yes.
She's an award-winning novelist, a playwright, a short story writer. She was awarded an Order of the British Empire Award in the Queen's Birthday Honors List for services to literature. How awesome is that? She was named European Woman of Achievement for contribution to the arts. She herself is a publisher and a New York Times best-selling author. Well, no wonder. Her book is called Citadel. In war-torn France, the bravest act is love. You're going to want this one, and one lucky listener will get the copy that was sent to us. It is gigantic. It's like Webster's Dictionary. It's so big, and probably uses every word in Webster's Dictionary. Kate Mosse. Good morning, Kate.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you both?
Pretty good. Thank you for being on our show. How's the weather in England?
It's a pleasure. It's spring. Everywhere I look, I'm sitting at my desk and I can see pink blossom, I can see golden daffodils, I can see little blue forget-me-nots. It's finally over. Winter has gone.
Do you know, before we talk about the story, I want to tell you about the feel of the book. I just love the way this book feels. It feels classic.
Well, thank you so much. And I love the fact you were saying the word epic, because it's a big, old-fashioned book that keeps you company for a long time when you're reading it. It's like a beach read book. And they've made it so beautiful, my publishers. It feels like something you just want to hug close to you, doesn't it? And I'm really grateful to them. In these days where a lot of stuff is very disposable and all of these things, they just made this beautiful object, and I'm so grateful.
Well, actually, you made it. They just put it on. They're the ones who put it. If your words weren't there would be no book in my hand. That's for sure.
Well, this is true. This is true. We'd all have imaginary books, and you know what? That'd be quicker to write an imaginary book.
Well, it is. It's your imagination, isn't it? Or is it historical?
Yeah.
Is it historical?
Well, that's a great question, Larry. It's a bit of both. So the real history that inspired the book, and it's set in the Second World War, the occupation of a town called Carcassonne in the southwest of France, the occupation by the Nazis. And the real history is there on every street corner, on every street sign. And we lived there for 25 years, half of the year. So I've grown up, if you like, and my children have grown up with these awful stories of the war, but also the stories of courage and bravery, the people who are not prepared to stand by and let the Nazis take over, you know?
Oh, really?
So it's inspired by the real history, but my lovely all-female unit of resistance fighters, my gang of girls, as I think of them.
That's what I keep dreaming for. I keep waiting for this.
Like girls with guns, I know.
All right. So, when I heard there was a gang of girls that was helping everybody out, I was saying, I need a help. I'm a man in distress.
Well, that was it. My wonderful dad, who passed away a couple of years ago, and he was a soldier. He fought in the Second World War. And when I was telling him about this, and I said, Dad, the thing is, it's an old-fashioned adventure story. It's a story of love and war and the consequences of war and friendship. I said, but it's got a twist, because this time the girls get to have the guns, and they're the ones doing the rescuing rather than sitting around like a princess waiting to be rescued. And my dad said to me, darling, I've waited all of my life for a girl to come and rescue me. I thought, okay, if I've got my dad on board, I might be onto something here.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, and so have you had much feedback? When did the book get released?
The book got released in England last year, in the UK, but my other main publishing market is America, and the reason it's coming out a year later is that I am fortunate to have a fantastic editor, and she moved publishing companies, and I wanted to go with her because I feel she made a massive contribution. So that's why there's been a year's gap. So it published in the States on Tuesday this week, and so I'm really, as you can hear, a bit overexcited.
Yeah, Now, is this part of Labyrinth or not? This isn't connected to Labyrinth at all?
It's connected in that it's set in the same part of the world, Carcassonne in the southwest of France. And Labyrinth and Citadel, if you will, are both love letters to that town that became our adoptive home, if you like. But it's not connected in that this is Second World War, and it's it's an adventure story all about that, the Nazi occupation, all of those sorts of adventure stories, whereas Labyrinth was about the 13th century. So it's connected in that people who loved Labyrinth will think, whoa, that's so interesting to know about Carcassonne 800 years later from the time they've read about. And the Labyrinth film made by the great Ridley Scott will be on American television in May. So it's that sort of thing. They're connected by place rather than by story. And the thing about Citadel is that all of the members of the Carcassonne resistance, the real history is that they were all executed in a really vile way on the 19th of August 1944. And over the years, all of the men of the resistance have been identified, and their names are honored, rightly so. But the two women who died that day have still remained lost to history. We don't know who they were or what their names were. And so for me, I thought, I'm not a historian, I'm a storyteller, but I thought, I can write a novel about the sort of women they must have been and the sort of men who must have loved them. And that's my way, if you like, of paying tribute to the real women and men who gave their lives in the war.
Oh, I like that.
But it is an adventure story, and what I want, of course, is people to go, oh my God, what's going to happen? Is Sandrine, she's my lead character, is she gonna make it through? What about her boyfriend? What about all the women in the unit? And so it is an adventure story, but underneath it, if people go away going, yeah, we owe that generation of people such a lot, then I'd be happy with that as well.
And like you had said earlier, there is there is an historical twist in your book, and that is pretty intriguing when that's found out as a reader.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Robin. I'm really pleased because the thing about the book, you made reference to the fact it's long, but what's odd when you're writing a book is that the book tells you how long it's got to be. It's not that I sit down and think, okay, I'm going to write these many pages of book. I have a story and I have characters, and the characters sort of tiptoe up and they tap you on the shoulder, and then you start writing. And the book tells you how long it's going to be. And all those twists, the historical twists, the different time periods, that comes out as you write, because it's almost like scratching away at a really dark surface, and then little by little the words get revealed. And then you see, it feels like it was there all the time. It's just my job as the novelist to access that story and access those characters that are somewhere floating about in my imagination. And so I love the fact that you enjoyed that twist, because of course that's what you want. You get the reason it's so lovely is that readers, particularly already American readers, are so generous in terms of emailing, tweeting. It's only been out for 4 days in the States, but I've had hundreds of messages already from readers going, oh my God, this, I can't wait to read this. I just, and I really appreciate feedback. So it's lovely to get feedback from you guys too. Oh,
that's awesome. Now, you do have some French language phrases in here. So
yeah.
Do we need to know French to be able to read the book?
No. I make... No, you certainly don't. And I mean, trust me. In the UK, people's French is a bit wobbly. It's not, it's not that everybody can. It's more that for me, it's like music. Think of it like the background music. No information that you need to know is given in French. Everything you need to know is in English. Of course it is. It's in English. But for me, it's like adding a bit of color. Just a little bit of color in the background that just reminds you that, this is a real place.
Yeah.
It's a real place in France that, if you had time, which I know you won't, no journalists ever do, but you could get on the plane right after we finished this interview, and you could go to Carcassonne, and you could go to those street signs, and you could look up, and you could see the names of the guys that died and the date of death on the wall. It's all there right now. So for me, the French is about reminding people that this place exists, and it's here now. It's part of living history. It's not just all way back in the past as it was with Labyrinth.
And the women are loving and caring. They're not those Amazons where they just squash everybody in their past. They're genuine, caring human beings. They love each other, but they have flaws too because they are human.
That's so right, Robin. And because I feel, I think the world is made up of women and men. All of us going about our business, doing our best together. And I hate the idea that the minute you have a woman who's a lead character, she's got to be some really horrible person with a drink problem or very aggressive or violent.
Or from the Amazon. I didn't know.
Yeah, well,
I didn't know. I mean, I'm
Amazon.
thinking, we're a melting pot here. We might have somebody from the Amazon listening, and right now they're writing Robin a nasty letter.
There we are. You see, I thought you were talking about the online booksellers. So I'm just kidding. But the thing is, so exactly, for me, it's about always writing male and female characters who are like us. Because this novel, basically, I'm asking myself a question. I'm saying, would I have been the sort of woman who was brave enough to stand up against these awful, awful people? And I don't know. I hope I would have been that woman who would support her Jewish neighbors, who would support her male friends who were soldiers, who didn't want to fight. Whoever. I'd like to think that I have that courage in me, but I'm lucky enough never to have been tested. So when I'm writing these are flawed women and flawed men who love each other and support each other. They don't always make the right choices, but they're not cartoons. They're not caricatures, that all, as you say, all women who are lead characters have to be like, are not interested in love and marriage and families. And also, I want to create male characters who are like the men I know, which means that they are strong and wonderful and also gentle and sad when things go wrong and should be allowed to have their emotions too. The idea of men always have to be heroes and they're not allowed to feel doubt or need support. I don't like that either. So, much as I love Bruce Willis in The Vest, I think it's a good idea that you have, men who are gentle and women who are strong. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. And they are us. They are all of us and the people we would hope we would be if we were living under occupation and we're protecting our families and our homes.
Kate, you are an outstanding novelist. You are
thank you.
I mean, you are what every novelist hopes to be. I have a copy of Kate's book. You do not want this one on an ebook. This is a book you want to hold in your hands.
Yes.
I'm guessing it is available if you want it that way, though, right? Is it available as an ebook?
It's available. Yeah, it's available in all formats. But you're right. Absolutely, I get a lot of emails from people saying I bought it on, email, an e-reader because it's big, but I've actually bought a copy because I wanted to keep it. And I think that's a great tribute to the publisher that they produced this beautiful thing, that can be a gift and you can share it with other people. That's the thing.
Well, I have a gift right here. It is from you, Kate, and I will get. Yes, you sent us a book. Maybe you didn't realize it, but you did. And it's a nice hardcover, gigantic book. It's called Citadel. Kate Mosse spells her last name Mosse. Call me right now if you want the one copy I have. The rest of us have to go buy it. Kate, do you have a website?
Yes, I do. It's www.katemosse, KATEMOSSE, because I'm not a supermodel, .co.uk. And I'm also on Twitter, hashtag @KateMosse.
Hashtag, okay, at Kate Mosse, and that's
or however you do it. I'm in my 50s here. You see,
me
so
too.
I'm
Me too.
to understand the new technology.
I think that's how
my
they
kids
do it.
help me sort out Twitter.
By the way, you look wonderful. I'm looking at your photograph. You look
well,
wonderful.
I tell you, I've just taken my mother and my mother-in-law swimming. They're amazing, and they're in their 80s. But if you could see me now, I do not look wonderful. I have swimming pool hair. So, we all have swimming pool hair here. So stick with the photo.
Kate, thank
Why
you.
we're not doing this on Skype.
Kate, it's an honor to say you've been on our show. You're welcome back anytime. If you're ever in America, come into the studios. We would love to see you.
Thank you so much, both of you, Larry and Robin. I've had a great time talking to you, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you. We'll look forward to having you on the next time. We'll take a little break and be right back.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable